Okay, so I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how to make screenshots in Skyrim. Now, normally someone would just type in TFC1 and you'd be able to easily move around the game, no trouble whatsoever. But the thing is, a lot of people don't realize is that there is more to it if you want to get more in depth. And I know a lot of people already know these things, but I figured I'd point this out and make a video on it, since a lot of my screenshots people are like, ooh, how'd you do that? Oh, I want to learn how to do that. And I made a little tutorial, written out tutorial, but I was hoping to get across with a video and start branching out to you guys. So first I'm going to start with you should definitely go to this site right here. This site has all the console command codes that you need. It's got weapons, apparel, items, books, quests. Actors is an important part because I use a lot of that stuff. I usually don't add in items or stuff, I just make them myself. But the second thing you'd want to go to is the Elder Scrolls Wiki, which has the console commands, just the normal preparatory inputs that you would put in before you'd add something in or do something. A lot of the common ones, TAI, TCAI, and I'll explain those to you later in game. I'm only going to be going over the very basic stuff. I myself haven't really delved into much of the hardcore, making things 1,000 times their size and doing all sorts of crazy junk. I usually just use it for posing and making scenes. If you guys want, I'll put the link to my Flickr here. Go ahead and sign in here. Put the link to my Flickr for you guys. Check out what you can do with the different settings and different commands you could do. First off, you can create a phalanx if you wanted to, or you could create a whole scene where you have Romans walking around. I have plenty like this where it's just random stuff. So I'll go ahead and post a link to my page. So what we're gonna do is, first off, what you're gonna need, what I recommend for any modder, and again, link in the description area. What you always want to have is some sort of poser, some sort of puppeteer type thing, as I see here, Puppeteer Master. That is the main one I use. I use that all the time. I seriously would not have been able to do almost any of my shots without Puppeteer Master. Secondly would be Director's Tools. It adds in a lot. It does the same thing as Puppeteer Master, but it's a little less organized with the menu. The menu is a little downgraded. It's like the dialogue menu rather than a actual pop-up menu. But it would be right here. So Director's Tools. The thing it adds that Puppeteer Master does not add is visual effects. It'll add in particle effects, embers, wisps of clouds, fog effects, different shading effects on your characters, like when you're being poisoned or something, or when you're soul sucking a dragon. What you want to do is make sure you get both of these. They're both located on the Skyrim Nexus, and again, I'll post a link right here. So what you guys are going to want to do is get those mods, install. That's really all you need. The console commands are not mod based. They're all vanilla. They're all in game. Now the animations, different animation stuff. I've delved with For's new idols, but I really don't like them. I mean, he adds in a few, but it messes up most of your idle animations and most of your attacking animations, unless you want them. Some of them kind of look cool, but I'm more of a traditional. So what you're going to want to do is start up Skyrim through Nexus or through Steam. To get these two mods, you need Nexus, the Director's Tool and Puppeteer Master. You need to have Nexus because Steam doesn't have it. Okay, so you're going to let this load up. And then what you're going to do is obviously press play and going to go into the game. I'm going to pause this video right now. I'll be right back.
Okay, so when we first get into Skyrim and everything, I just picked a random place because this is good for FPS, so I'll keep solid FPS down here while I'm making the video. What you first want to do when you get in is you'll press the tilde key, which will look like, I can't show you, never mind. You press the tilde key, it's a squiggly line right above the tab, And what you'll do is, first I like to do is type in TGM. That puts God mode on and pretty much makes it so you're invulnerable to everything. You don't lose mana, you don't lose stamina, you don't lose health. So you're pretty much a god. It's self-explanatory. Then the second thing I like to do is, if there's anyone in the room, I'll do kill all. And this is only if I'm making a scene. If you want them all to be alive when you're not making the scene, then that's fine. You know, just do whatever you want. Next thing I do is TCAI. Turns all combat processing off, as you can see right down here. And then the other thing I like to do is TAI. For some reason, when this is not on, I don't know why, but certain effects, certain fire spells and stuff don't work properly. I don't know what that has to do with AI, but I'm guessing it has to do with the rendering flame coming out of the AI. I don't know. So what I like to do after this is you pick out whatever character you want to go, and what you'll do is you'll go to the website I told you, Skyrim Search, and you'll just search, like, say, Imperial, and you'll be able to find, it'll list the names and the item codes. Now usually what you have to do is you have to put in like 000. You don't actually have to put in the 3 zeros in front of the item code. What I'll do is I'll type in player.add excuse me. Player.placeatme, no spaces, capitalization doesn't matter, then a space after place at me, as you can see down here, just to clarify, because you need that. And then you'll type in, for Imperial Archer, 45BE0. And what it'll do is it'll add, press enter, it'll add in an archer. It'll spawn right here. Next thing you'd want to do is, say you want to take control of the said player to make a pose. What I like to do is, first I will have all my puppeteer stuff already favorited over here. You have your director's tools, your director's tools manuals, director's tools, all this stuff. The one main thing I use, or the three main things I use, is first off, the puppeteer selector. So I'll go ahead and place that in my right hand. It's pretty much a spell that you pretty much, it's a touch spell. So you have to go near the player, or near the NPC, and touch it. Second thing is Puppeteer Figurine NPC. This one will control the NPC's movement in the same menu that you would if you were to use the Puppeteer Figurine, which would control your movement. Director's Tools will control your movement and your visual effects. And the Director's Tools, there's a spell in here. I don't have it favorited, but there's it's a shout spell, and it'll pretty much direct whatever NPC you're pointed at. So we'll go ahead and pick NPC selector, and what I'm going to do is arm it, and then pretty much just touch them. And then next thing you'll do is, if you have it favorited, I have it favorited 6, you'll pick Puppeteer Figurine NPC. Like I said, you can get all these mods from the Skyrim Nexus. I'll have links on my YouTube page. So go ahead and click or pick, and then this is what the menu looks like. So you'll go in here, and I like to put a little flavor on the pose, give them a little emotion. So what you go in is misc, facial, and shout, because that's really noticeable. Now, that doesn't always work on these guys, but on this one it actually did work. So see, you can see a shout. Now he'll hold that face until you tell him a different face or reset him. And if you want to reset him, you just go to misc for the facial. You have to go to facial, and then you go to reset. It doesn't work on the main reset. You actually have to go into the facial menu and reset it from there. Now, I guess what we could do is say killing two-handed Draugr. He'll perform that move. Another thing that's great for is when you're doing a battle scene and you want to place like two characters together to fight each other. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and put in let me see. Oh, on a side note, there's also dying animations for when they're dying. So I'll go ahead and use those. And let's see, how about a decap to show what I'm going to show you in a second here. So when you have your player
you know, ready where you want them to be, or you have your NPC ready where you want them to be, you'll see your NPC right here. You started the animation when you put in console and pauses everything, so you're free to roam. Uh, what you want to do, this is what I do when I'm making my poses, is I will click, and you see this number right here. This is exactly what you want to see. If it's an NPC, it will always, well, let me correct myself. If it's an NPC warrior or soldier or whatever, usually for the most part, it'll have FF in front of it and then the number, and that's how you know you have the right person selected. What I like to do is first I will click on the character, and then I'll let whatever scene I want to play through until I find the perfect pose I want him at. So we'll let him run through, and that right there, perfect. Now what you do to freeze him, just him in that specific position, you have to have them selected first. You have to have those numbers popped up right there. And the next thing you do is type in TAI. This will pause the Imperial Archers animation. I don't know how or why it does that. I just found that out on accident one day, and that's what I've been doing ever since. And what it'll do is it'll pause everything. See? Blend animation eventually goes away, so if you want to use that, you got to be quick. So, for example, I'll show you what you can do with this kind of thing. So, what you do is, for me, for your animations, you go to Puppeteer Figurine, not the NPC one, the regular Puppeteer Figurine. And what you do is, you go 3 and say Killing Blow, two-handed, what looks cool to you. There's tons of killing moves you can pick from. So, there's a limited amount of poses you can do. I'll just go ahead and do a attack B. Oh, wait, no, that's not it. Hold on. Let me get the right one. There's one that works pretty well with this one. Falmer B. Kind of looks like he's cutting through. So, then you just pretty much you'd pick out where you want to put your player, and then last will pick so pretty much when you pick last, it'll replay whatever animation you had picked before, so it's like a repeat button. So I'm going to try to get this to look right so you guys can see what you can do. Okay, this would be a good one. So next thing you do is once you have your player and your guy or position you want him into, you press TFC1. And you need a space in between the TFC and the 1. Now, the problem with this is some people will think TFC, oh, that's fine, but they don't realize it doesn't pause the game. TFC1 is the one that actually pauses the game and lets you take control of the camera while the whole game is paused. So I'm going to press enter, and you'll see what I'm talking about. As you can see, perfect for taking pictures. If you want, a place like this is way too fast for a place like this. So what you're going to do is go into console, and don't worry guys, I will write all of these console commands down and what they do in the description. So what you want to do for slowing the camera down and speeding it up, you go into console and you type in suck sum or sm space. For this kind of thing you'd want to do 3 because it moves the camera pretty slow. So there you go, you got perfect camera slow, everything's perfect. So if you want to put the camera back to default, I believe it's suck sum 15. Yeah, it seems about right. So you got everything you need. Usually I use Fraps to take the pictures. I'm using a different program to video record this because Fraps video sucks, but Fraps is pretty good for screenshots. It keeps the right resolution and all that stuff, and you only need like GIMP or something to export it to a different file type. So, okay, so if you want everything to go back to normal, you would type in TFC 1 again, press enter, and then what you want to do is make sure you have the soldier selected again, and type in TAI. This will turn the Archer processing back on, and pretty much just fall to the floor. You can continue with whatever animation he's doing. If you do TAI while in the middle of his like falling, he'll pause in that position. Okay, so pretty much we got the basic preset down. What I want to do is explain to you a little bit more about being able to freeze objects and hold things in the midair. What I do is I will pick up an object like this guy's head. I'll hold it in midair, and then what I'll do is type in TCL. This turns collision off. So, gotta make sure you have nothing selected when you do TCL as well. So it'll turn collision off, and what it'll do is pretty much make it so nothing moves. Players won't, or NPCs won't move, but they'll still be functioning, like they'll be in battle mode and everything. If you're fighting them and you don't have anything else turned off, you can walk in the air. It's pretty much no physics, I guess, type of switch. Turn it back on, same thing again. TCL is perfect for the shots if you like want to get on those rafters up there and act like an assassin or something. For your pictures, it's pretty cool. I've done one of those shots a long time ago. Let's see, what else can I go over? Okay, another good and actually almost perfect console command is, let's see, I'm going to spawn in a troop, and one of the most awesome console commands I found is TC. Pretty much what it lets you do is control the other player, and it's perfect for if you want to, like, I'll set up a scene here. If you want to set up a scene where you have a few troops just like standing there. Let's get this scene going. Pretty much what it does is it turns the NPC into you. Some commands are limited, like you can't put new weapons on the guy and switch weapons. You'll be with whatever weapon he has. Pretty much it'll set up so you're just controlling the basic functions of the person. I've used this a lot to form like my phalanx pictures that I did, and the line formations that I did. And they're great for just if you want to set up like a battle in here, you can just place individual characters around all over the place. It makes it look more fluid and not so gamey. So that's what that does. And if you have to make sure you have your player, which is always 00014, selected, and then select the other player that you're going to take control, because if you don't, then you'll lose your player, because he moves around while you're controlling the person. So you may lose him and not be able to get back to him without doing a TFC, and that's kind of like more advanced usage. So let's see, I've gone over TAI, which is the AI control. Turns off the movement for the person, like any notice, like TAI pretty much turns off his outer world. TCAI turns off their combat outer world, so they won't notice combat if you're hitting them. TCL turns collision off, pretty much turns physics off, so you can have things floating there. Thing I found out is you can only have one thing in the air at a time, or at least if there's some other way, let me know. But for all I know, there's only one way to have things float in the air, and that's TCL. Let's see, gone over TFC, gone over poses. So like I said before, I make my phalanxes and stuff using TC. TAI is a very helpful thing. The individual TAI, you can hold them into certain poses. Eventually, you can get like a row of men sitting up here with their shields drawn, like blocking, and you'll have a whole set of men there, and they'll be standing there, and TAI will have them permanently frozen there until you unfreeze them. Again, I'm sorry guys, I got a cold, so I'm fighting the flu or something. But let's see. So TAI, TCI, TCL. TCL is another way I do my dragon shots, where I'm on top of a dragon while they're in midair. If you guys want to add in items, it's really simple. Just player.add-item and whatever the console code is. And then for perk, player.add-perk, whatever the console code is. If you want to go ahead and make it so that time is frozen, not the game time, but the actual like clock time, so it doesn't move the lighting, the daylight and all that stuff, you do set timescale to 0. That will freeze the timescale, so sun doesn't move, no weather changes. And then to change that back to normal, the default is set timescale to 20. To change the weather, what you want to do is you'll go and hit FW space, and then clear daylight is 81A. And there's the console commands on Skyrim Search for the proper console codes for those as well. So pretty much that's really how the cookie crumbles. It's very, very simple to do this kind of stuff. I've been doing it for a year. Got some pretty awesome shots. I'll link my Flickr here so you can check out what I'm able to do. I recommend getting K, E, and B off of the Skyrim Nexus. This is the E and B I use. I'll show you what it looks like. This is what it looks like. Well, let the steam go off because it's making the shadows all weird. But this is what KEMB looks like. It's a very, very well put together EMB. I recommend it for anybody to use. Pretty much, well, ignore those guys humping the chair. Pretty much it adds in a lot of stuff other EMBs don't. It's made by a guy who actually knows what he's doing. So, I guess the last thing I would say is just be careful. You don't want to break your game. I haven't had a problem with breaking my game ever, so it's always a forewarning to back up your files before you start messing with stuff like this, so make sure you do that. So have fun making pictures, guys. Very simple stuff, and enjoy.